Drug screening welfare recipients might prevent some misuse of governmental aid, but there is no reason to treat poor families as if they were more likely to use drugs than the general population. Drug testing welfare recipients is unconstitutional and proven costly and ineffective. Allowing the government to test people who are receiving governmental assistance is a slippery slope that would without a doubt prove to infringe on one's right to privacy. This is a direct assumption that those of lower income are more likely to use illegal drugs than those who do not require help to care for their families. Why would the government screen those who need temporary help for their families and not those who need temporary help to pay for their schooling? Via school loans, which is government money, or even our very own congressmen and congresswomen whose income is government money. Those who support drug screening beyond public assistance say that those who are receiving the benefit of the government should not be allowing to abuse the handout that they are given. It is easy for one to look at the surface of this issue and agree with those supporters. Several states have reviewed legislative proposals that support imposing drug testing on those who stand in line to receive needed relief and help to support their young children and families. Florida was one of the pioneering states in attempting to implement drug screening. And get this, supporters are asking those who need assistance to pay for their test. Yes, you heard me correctly. Each person must pay for their own drug test, even though they stand in line and wait for assistance to feed their families. Supporters shout that our tax dollars are being wasted on addicts, but while they are shouting, they ignore the cries of a hungry child under her mother's arms. Supporters easily ignore the fact that the constitutional right to privacy is being invaded and devastated. We must understand that while it is easy to agree with those who support drug screening for public assistance, it is vitally important that we look at the other side of this controversy. The Fourth Amendment reads, "The right of the people to be secure in their persons, their houses, their papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or the things to be seized." The key element here is the unreasonable searches and seizures. It is to be understood that collecting bodily fluids like blood and like urine is in fact a search and seizure of what is rightfully that person's possession. Demanding those who need to participate in public assistance for a sample of their blood or urine is a colossal misuse of the governmental powers that be. Or could it possibly be that those who support these screenings think that just being poor is cause for reasonable suspicion of drug use? Does one assume that no wealthy do drugs? Could one possibly think that no member of Congress, no pilot, or no Harvard University student has abused a controlled substance? It is absurd to assume that none of them inhaled any of it. And yet when an outlandish bill is proposed, nobody even considers drug testing a House committee member for proposing or supporting these bills. To be sure that if a congressman or a politician were subjected to the same test, it would quickly be deemed a violation of the right to the Fourth Amendment. More than 7,000 Floridians were subjected to drug screening, and out of that 7,000, only 32 people tested positive, less than 1%. So why are we not also testing our government for drug use? Are they not benefiting from tax monies? These policymakers are not subjected to the same standard they are pushing on a very select group of citizens. Although drug screening every applicant for governmental assistance might prevent a small measure of misuse of governmental aid, drug testing welfare recipients is unconstitutional, costly, and ineffective. Do not blindly follow the leaders of our government. All United States citizens are protected equally, and no one should stand idly by as our neighbors, our friends, and our family are being deprived of their rudimental and natural right under the United States Constitution.
Created using Powtoon.